I'm searching the web for the latest gaming news. Searching GameZillaMedia.com. Downloading headlines.
Alexander, what about this monster story of yours?
Download complete.
We posted them, you voted on them, and the winner... Well, before we say the winner, we don't have a loser this week.
What?
Yeah, it was a tie.
No, there's no ties in the Patreon
It was a
vote.
tie, so we're going to do them both.
No, I don't want to do them both.
Tough luck, we're doing them both.
We cannot encourage them to vote for ties because then they'll make us talk about two news subjects. This is the last time that happens. If it ties again,
Ooh, this is an ugly precedent. I didn't think about that.
If it ties again, we're picking one.
We just pick one right now.
No,
on the fly.
We will. Grim already said we're going to talk about both of them. We're going to talk about both of them this
I
week.
changed my mind. We're doing one.
Okay, we're doing one.
The loser was the PlayStation Update 6.0.
There we go.
Everyone was upset about it, but guess what? We're not going to talk about it because you didn't vote on it enough. It was only a tie.
No ties.
And Nintendo wins every tie. So let's go to Nintendo.
I really like the rule. No. So not only do we not get a poor precedent that we don't have ties, but now we have a great precedent that Nintendo wins every tie.
There you go.
I'm just saying we can't. We love our patrons, but then they can choose deliberately. Go, oh, I can be the tie, especially if they know they're the last vote. Oh, I could be the tie. So then we talk about both. We can't do that. We can't.
Patreon collusion.
Yeah, we can't have it.
We can't give the community power.
No, I'm not interested
Not
in it.
real
They have
power.
the power to choose, not the power to force both.
That's right. That's right. It's one or the other. Be decisive.
All right. Well,
ties.
anyways.
This is the NFL.
The winner this week is the NES controllers for the Nintendo Switch are exclusive to Nintendo Switch Online subscribers.
Good. Get your greasy mitts off them, scalpers.
All right, so you get two controllers that are NES retro controllers that have the Joy-Con rails, so they charge on the Joy-Con, and you can only get these $60. You can only get them if you are a paid subscriber to Nintendo Online.
Good.
I'm completely okay with this because also you can only use these controllers for the 20 NES games that they're releasing with Nintendo Online.
Well, 20 at start. Obviously, they're
at
going
the
to bring
start,
more.
right,
but
right,
yes.
Yeah.
You can only use them for that in a way that you can only use American money here in America. Like, you could totally use American currency in Mexico and everyone's cool with it. Like in that sort of way, or like, no, candy dish, $90. Like that's what we're talking about.
According, as of right now, the reports say they will only work for the 20 NES games that are being released at launch, and obviously, yes, any games they add thereon after via the Nintendo Online service should be included in that. But right now, it's just those 20 games. You're not going to be picking up playing the Messenger with one of these controllers.
The belief is that when you launch, if your paired controllers at the time are these, and you launch a game other than the NES emulator game.
Let's use Pocket Rumble for an example, because you could play it on this controller theoretically.
No. Well, you could play it, but when you launch Pocket Rumble, it's going to be like, all right, go ahead and pair your controllers.
Yeah, disconnect it.
Press L and R on the controller you want to pair. There's no L and R here. These are only going to even be grabbed.
It even has the little shoulder buttons that you can attach the little grip into.
They're not real, though.
Well, those are the rails so you can charge them.
Yep.
Those aren't the little
inlaid
buttons.
Those
there
look like
might be.
buttons.
It looks like there might be an L and R in gray.
Yeah, it does.
Which I guess
you need those for syncing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I just think it's going to launch and say, like, the same way that if you're trying to use a Pro Controller, like you have a Pro Controller synced, and you try to launch a game that doesn't have Pro Controller compatibility, it's like, okay, it pops up with the screen and the four empty spots at the bottom, like, which controller do you want to use? Press L and R. You press L and R on the Pro Controller, it's like, get some Joy-Cons. You get some Joy-Con.
Okay.
Not to speak incorrectly. Get some Joy-Con before you go any further.
I understand, but can you riddle me this?
No.
Why? Like, why is that the reason? Is it tied back into the, like, you have to be a subscriber to buy these so you can only use these if you have the subscription? Like, I don't...
If I had to wager a guess, I would say Nintendo just doesn't want their ecosystem disrupted by another option for a controller outside of the Nintendo games that, that they want you to play these with. So, like, they don't want you playing Pocket Rumble without using a Joy-Con or using Pro Controller, just because I'm not trying to fragment or give developers another option of what to play. Who knows? Or also, you can't use these portably, unless you docked your Switch and took them off. But handheld, I guess, is probably the better option. You can't use these handheld.
Yeah. You could tabletop it.
See,
It just doesn't make sense to me because actually here's a theoretical reason. Would every game that's been released thus far need to be updated to deny these controllers access if it wasn't a compatible controller? So let's use Pocket Rumble as the base, because with this control scheme you could play Pocket Rumble. So are we saying that any game that would not be compatible with these, an update would need to be pushed out for it to not be, it to block it out?
So they just block it at a system level and say, okay, no game has to do anything. These are blocked at a system level, period. Or else you try to launch Breath of the Wild with these two things connected, and this game doesn't know what to do, and then...
I just feel like it's weird that every other controller that they've made for the Switch, and mind you, even third parties like 8-Bit do and all that stuff, there's no limitations. But yet these, they're going to kind of create a fake wall that they're not going to let you try to use. Like, yes, these controllers will not work for certain games. Because, actually, a great example is the Messenger, which I was stating. It would be a bad game. You need more than the buttons supplied on this. So for me, it's like, why can't I just don't get it. Like, I'm paying $60 for these. I have to be a member. I have to be an online subscriber. I'm paying for them. Why are you blocking me? It kind of was that same thing of like when the GameCube adapter came out, and you were like, "Oh, cool! I can use a GameCube controller for other games." And they're like, "No, just Smash Brothers." And I was like, "Oh, well." I'm like, "Cool! I'm still gonna buy it because I want it for that." But I was kind of bummed. I was like, I thought I'd be able to play some other games with a GameCube controller with my Wavebird that I like so much.
The trashiest aspect of this is also probably my favorite aspect of this is what you just said. You have to be a Nintendo Switch online subscriber to buy them. The pro to that, as I think we spoke to in the pre-show, it's going to be harder for scalpers to get their hands on them, right? People aren't going to be going and buying 70 sets from your local retailer and then throwing them online.
Well, because you can only get these from Nintendo then, I'm assuming, right?
Which is then the bad part, because I'm assuming now there's shipping that you probably didn't want to spend. And let's say you've got, your 14, 15, 16-year-old kid with their own Nintendo account who has all their stuff to them, and maybe their parents want to buy them these for Christmas. What do you do? Hey, I need your Nintendo account login. Why? Because I'm not trying to buy you these NES controllers. It's another reason. It just makes
a kid would never want these anyway. They don't know about the.
I mean, to be fair,
joysticks and stuff.
To be fair, though,
touchscreen.
You have to be an online subscriber
Doritos
to buy these, right? So, what does 1 month cost?
$1.77 or something like that. We broke it down. You can return
it's 17 dimes. It's 17 dimes.
Yeah, but you could buy it. Can you buy it per month, or do you have to buy it like 3 months?
I think it's $3.99 a month or $20.
So I pay $3.99, and then I buy whatever the limit is. Let's say they allow 4 per household or whatever. And I do that because they are selling for a lot of money. Let's just say they are a short supply and they are selling for a lot. Yeah, you're not going to get the scalpers that buy 70 of them, but instead you're going to get a lot of these mini scalpers that all buy 4 and sell them anyways. And so, it's not. It is a wall. It's not that hard of a wall to get around, especially if someone really wants to spend the time and build, I don't know, if they're selling. Let's just say they're selling for double. Let's say they're $120 value. You're doubling your money. So someone makes 20 different email accounts. They pay that $4 fee, but they're making a profit of $55, $56 per sale. There's still value there for them to do that. It's a little bit of extra work, but people are still going to do that. People are crazy.
Yeah, people. Everyone is constantly looking to get one over on the gaming community and make a buck off of us. No doubt that's an issue.
Right, but do you think Nintendo did this to try to stop those people, or to try to, it's more like them being Nintendo. I don't think it's them trying to stop scalpers. I think it's them trying to be like, well, this is like a a perk of being an online member. You get access to this, but you still have to pay money.
I think that is the right mindset, and I also think Nintendo gets to line their pockets a little more cash if these don't have to go to a retail store.
That's true too. Yeah.
You know, it's like, hey, you want these? Because not every person is going to want these. I think the number actually is probably going to be a little on the low side of people that want these. Because for me, if you told me I get these two controllers, they only work on the NES games, they're $30 for the pair. I'd absolutely order a pair.
Oh, 100%.
$60. You already mentioned 8-bit Dude. Do you have your controller down here to show off?
Absolutely.
You can get a really nice 8-bit Do controller for $30 that can play with many other games.
Boom.
Or if you spend $10 more than this combo, you can buy an NES Classic that has most of the games that are coming out on there.
Yeah.
I guess it's only one controller though.
No, the NES Classic now is only $60.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I dropped the price on that.
Neat.
But I mean,
So-
and you're right. And the 8-bit Do controllers they're great. Like I love using this controller. But like you said, you can buy a nicer one that even has joysticks on it, so it is even more useful for newer games. But to me, it's like I want these, but the price point is a little high, and for me, it's like I don't know. I just the only thing that they haven't said this, and I'm not saying this is a rumor or anything, but it'd be like, oh, well, yeah, you can use those, but you can't use your 8-bit Do on the NES games. If that happened, I would be super upset. You know, at that point, I'd be like, wow, now you really are building a wall of like, well, yeah, you can play with your Joy-Cons and your Pro Controller and these and nothing else.
But the 8-bit do sync up through the Pro Controller support.
They do.
So not that it would be tough for them to block, but it would be a pretty low move for them to block something like that.
Yeah, and I don't think they're doing that again, but that would be somewhere I'm like, wow, that is Super Nintendo at that point. But
And is the fact that they're coming out with these peripherals kind of maybe a little bit of a concern that SNES or better games in this free with Nintendo Switch Online are much further away than we might think?
that's the other concern is that we're happy we're getting some of these games, but yeah, when are we getting SNES? When are we getting GameCube? When are we getting 64? Like whatever. And does that mean every year it's going to be yearly or something like that? And at the same time, we'll also be getting something like this where it's like, okay, here's your SNES double pack. Here's your, I don't know.
Can you imagine how obnoxious a Switch would look with two N64 controllers
what I
shooting
was
off
just
the
thinking.
Joy-Con rail?
Yes, that would
You'd
be.
throw that thing like a boomerang and kill somebody.
Yeah, that would be like you'd see an orc murder somebody with that
Absolutely.
thing real easy and just stab it right through their neck.
Yeah.
That's my orc sound.
So yeah, I don't know. I at first thought it was interesting that they had blocked these as far as purchasing behind that wall for subscribers only. We'll see how that works out. But at the same time, I don't like the idea that you can only use them for the NES Online games. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, and I was initially when they showed these off during the Nintendo Direct that I went over to the Nintendo Lounge and Test and I did a live stream of the whole Direct. When I initially saw these, I was like, yes, give me, because I love having an original NES controller in my hand. It just feels like my childhood because I didn't even have a Super Nintendo when I was a kid. I had an original Nintendo for a long time. And then as soon as it was like they're $60, like $60 for two NES controllers, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And then even more so, finding out that I'm not gonna be able to use them on any other titles on the system, it was like,
I mean, they're $60, and I get it. They got the Joy-Con rail, which means they have a battery in them, which is not something that like the SNES Classic has.
Yeah, I
But
get
the
it.
SNES Classic was what, 80? And you got two controllers.
no. Oh, the SNES Classic. yes.
SNES
You got
Classic
two with.
was $80, two controllers, and what, 24 games
Sounds right.
Yeah.
for $80. So like that, like cost wise, to me, like I don't get it unless they have like the Rumble
HD Rumble?
yeah, HD Rumble and all that stuff built like
They don't. There's no way they do.
There's no way
Why
they
would
do.
you have Rumble in these things?
Well, because they're talking about how these NES games are HD and online and all these things. So maybe they added Rumble features to them
Rumble
too.
in an NES game.
I'm just saying, like that to me, like if those things were there, I'd be like, okay, there's more cost to these. Otherwise, manufacturing cost of this is like it's nothing. So to me, it's just very. I don't like the feel of it. I don't like the feel of it, even though I still kind of want them. We'll see how it goes.
I don't even know how I'm going to play these NES games that drop tomorrow night.
These also don't ship until like December, right?
I haven't even looked
I think
at
they ship in like December, and we're literally recording this like, I don't know, less than 24 hours before all these NES games are live. So like these controllers aren't even available to all the subscribers until months after Nintendo Online goes live. I could be wrong on that, but I thought that's what I read in the article.